64 days to go until the transfer window closes. West Ham have finally confirmed one transfer. We're not going to discuss him tonight. We're going to discuss the rumours and the gossip. And please note, it simply is rumours and gossip because some of them are getting a little bit silly. Or are they? Charlie, first one, the big news in the last 24 hours or so is all about Felipe Anderson. Over in Italy yesterday, it came out that the agent was pushing for the move to go through, and it's now starting to filter through to England and on our side that actually this deal could be happening. It's valued around about £33 million, if you like. What do you know about the player, if anything, and have you looked into him, etc.? And what do you make of the deal in general?
I haven't seen as much of him as I wanted to. I've seen a couple of games over the course of the last couple of years when he's been at various clubs. But I like him as a player. I don't think he's particularly incredible, technically especially. I think he's very good at dribbling with the ball. He's very quick and can just drift past players with relative ease, but doesn't have a ton of end products, similar in a way to Antonio, but with more actual conviction with what he does as opposed to Antonio. 35 million or whatever it ends up being around, let's say, the 40 million euro mark, which is what seems to be spoken about a lot, is what they want, is a lot of money to spend. He is 25, so he's about to hit his prime as a winger. If you want to make a big name intense signing, that's probably one of them. He's not this world beater, but he is one of the people who's been bubbling under the surface of European football for a long time, and everyone has spoken about as a top prospect for the future. And so if you're looking for a guy to say, look, we're actually here to play now, we're here to spend money, we're here to buy good young players from Europe, then he is an obvious candidate, and I would be extremely happy if we bought him.
Mike, a foreign player with an exotic price tag, what do you make of this one?
I think I can kind of see why they're going for him. I can see that, yeah, and Charlie's right. He's one of those players that's been bubbling under, not quite in the top echelon, but, you know, getting there for a while. I think it'd be a great signing for us. I think if you could imagine him and the fullback we've just got from Fulham, imagine those two raiding down that side together. That's actually going to terrify a lot of players, a lot of other teams, isn't it?
Mike, it would take up a third at least of our transfer budget, perhaps even verging on half our transfer budget. Is it worth the outlay?
I don't know. It depends what you want to do. Do we want? How many players do we really need? How many players do we really need to bring in here? I think we probably need about 4 or 5 players, but we've got one for free. We've got, yeah, it probably is. It probably is. And with him and Antonio, assuming Antonio stays, which I hope he does, him and Antonio would make us incredibly quick again, wouldn't it? They really would. And we need some pace. We were just so slow last season. And that's a major issue in the Premier League now. We really, really need some pace. We've kind of got some nuts and bolts for the rest of it. I don't think we need a striker or a number 10, but we could go some pace desperately. And that's the other point, just getting people who can run fast but can't do anything with the ball. He can do something with it. He provides assists, scores goals.
Well, it could be our transfer buy. As I said, you're suggesting that the agent and player pushing for this one. However, in England, it's just been confirmed, well, not confirmed as such, unofficially confirmed in the last few hours that interest on our side is genuine and they're trying to get a deal done. However, it's nowhere as close as it's been made out to be in Italy. So this is one to watch. Charlie, this is where it starts to get a little bit silly. The other rumours tonight are linking us with Rafinha of Barcelona for around about 33 to 35 million pounds. Is this the type of rumour we have to take with a pinch of salt?
I think we have to take every rumour with a pinch of salt. I have no doubt, I've said this before, but I have no doubt that we have interest in him. He's a very good footballer on his day. And if we're looking for a creative footballer in the sense of João Mario or someone like that, then it makes perfect sense that we would also be interested in someone like that. The problem is like you say, everything has to be taken with a pinch of salt at this point, especially when figures like 33, 35 million are being discussed, because we know what our owners are like. We know the way they approach the game. We know they approach transfers. It will be, oh, we'll pay you 15 million and the rest will be installments, blah, blah, blah. We'll be borrowing a player from PSG. That sort of rubbish will be occurring. And so with him, he's a very, very good footballer. Again, someone who I'd be incredibly happy to have at the club, but I just can't see us spending that amount of money on someone who is not as vital to the cause as a winger would be.
In the other reports yesterday are suggesting West Ham are set to go up against the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea in a bid for Jean-Michel Seri, the Nice midfielder. Mike, have you ever heard of this guy? And at 35 million, should we have heard of this guy?
I have heard of him, but I can't. I've seen him play once or twice, and that's it. I'm not a huge fan. I like because I don't know enough about him.
Honestly, I've never heard of him. Charlie, have you ever heard of him? Do you know much about him?
Yeah, but I think I've seen him play once. I think I watched Nice once last year just to sort of see what was going on there. From everything I've read, he's Kante-esque in that sort of deep role, destroyer runs about. I think he's got overhyped more than is probably necessary because he looks like a Kante-esque player. So if you want to battle for him for 35 million, and I feel like it's a bit stupid for our level to do that.
Well, it was nice of Charlie to watch Nice, but another rumour to keep an eye on, and another rumour probably take with a pinch of salt. And just like a possible one from Boca Juniors, Mike, we're being linked with Pavon. The winger, he's in the Argentinian squad with Lanzini for the World Cup. Is this one a bit far-fetched? Because once again, it's the same player who's linked with the likes of Arsenal and even Barcelona. Yeah.
No, I mean, apparently Barcelona want him. I mean, of course, we're probably interested in him if we could get him 10 million up front and the rest in installments. So, but they'd go for it, but they won't be able to get him there. I think half the world wants him. So no, especially if you're up against Barcelona, there's not a chance in hell we're going to get Pavon. Great player, great player.
Mike, is it good to see us linked with non-Premier League clubs? Well, we might not know necessarily everything about them, etc., etc. But is this the right link? So are you enjoying the players we're being linked to for a change?
Oh, yeah, it's tremendous. We kind of knew it was going to happen the minute we appointed Pellegrini and the guy, however you say his surname, who's going to be the guy who's going to be doing the talent spotter for us, because, they're not particularly UK focused in their player recruitment, any of them. So unless something really mind-bendingly good comes up from the Premier League that we could get, it's going to be imports. It's always going to be imports. I'm surprised at the level of them. I thought we'd be looking at ones that are under the radar that they can turn into something big rather than the already established names, if you know what I mean.
Well, these could be smoke screens, of course, and we could be going after those players that Mike has alluded to. But it's time to turn our attention to a particular West Ham player. Charlie, it came out today that Declan Rice has rejected the initial contract offer. This is, of course, just a report, but is widely reported and by very good sources as well, that West Ham's offer was £8,000 a week, which Declan Rice has declined. What did you make of all this today?
If we've offered him £8,000 a week, I would turn it down as well. If I was him, he's better than that. It's an absurd money for. If you look at anyone, let's say we were going to buy another centre back who is of a similar quality to him. There's no way we'd get away with paying them £8,000 a week. I think it's kind of ridiculous that we would offer someone who is, let's be honest, almost as good as the current centre backs we already have, and at the same time, an incredible young prospect. I think it's absurd. I don't blame him for rejecting it. I just hope that if that is the case and that is true, that we do go back and we try and sort it out, because I see him as a huge, huge part of our future.
Do you worry at all about it, Charlie, or do you think it's just a case of the first offer and they're always going to go low ball on that?
I don't worry too much. I remember David Sullivan once saying something along the lines of, if they accept your first offer, you've offered too much, which is a very David Sullivan thing to say. So I suspect he's gone in a lot lower than he thinks they would accept, just to see what would happen. At least that is what I hope. I am mildly concerned that he might leave, but like 10%. It's not really anything I'm that worried about right now.
Mike, what about yourself? I mean, Charlie makes a good point there, but do you have to take into consideration his age at all, or £8,000 a week, though? What was your thoughts on it?
£8,000 a week is laughable. He's a full international. I mean, he's got himself into Republic of Ireland squad recently and hasn't left, has he? He's a full international. He's played, how many games did he play last year? Do you know? How many games did he actually play for us? It was a lot of games, and he looked like he should be in that team. He didn't look like the kid who was in there. Oh, we're going to help him get up. We're going to try and invest some time in him. It wasn't one of those. He deserved to be in that team. And as you say, as Charlie said, if we were going to buy, if you were buying, say, even a championship player from of similar quality, who we're going to hope is going to develop into a great Premier League defender, you'd be looking at least 30 grand, wouldn't you? At least. And that's kind of where we should be placing, between 20 to 30 grand with decent appearance fee as well, I think.
Fredericks is on 50 grand a week, to give you a little example, a comparison there. I don't normally give my opinion on these shows, but I won't be doing a cup of tea with Gonzo for another week or something. But I was actually fuming that they offered £8,000 I find it extremely insulting. If I was Declan, I would have ripped that up and walked out straight away. And I actually hope he has, because it is extremely insulting. Reece Oxford's on 20 grand a week. It's well reported. The guy had about 2 good games for us and got 20 grand a week. Quinna's on about 20 grand a week to lure him over from Arsenal. Said Haksabanovic that we signed is on about 20 grand a week as well. These guys have played less than 10 first team appearances between them. Declan Rice has done triple that in one season. He's gone in, he's now, I know he's only 19, but he's now a first team player. He's part of the first team squad. So what do you pay a Premier League first team squad member minimum? 20 grand at least, and that's like if you're a newly promoted side and you're a squad player, that's what it is. That's probably what Fulham's squad players are on, etc. 8 grand a week's insulting, and it's not just the players; it's the message as well. What must Declan think when he goes in there and gets 8 grand a week? How could he possibly feel valued by West Ham United after that? He's not going to be here in 5 years' time, okay? If he reaches his potential, he won't be here, because all he's spoken about is captain in Ireland. It could happen at West Ham. John O'Shea is the bloody captain just now, and so it doesn't matter who he plays for in the sense of Ireland. But he's also spoken about winning Premier League medals. That's not going to happen at West Ham United in his lifetime unless a change of ownership happens. Now, that's not David Gold and David Sullivan, because it's not their fault. They're very successful businessmen. They made a lot of money, but it's not enough to win the Premier League. That's fine. We know that. Declan Rice speaks continuously about wanting to win the Premier League, and good on him. That's what we want to hear. So in order to do that, he's going to have to leave. So let's give this guy what he deserves, because if a club's looking at him right now, pick any of the top 6 you want, they're now thinking West Ham are only offering him 8 grand a week. We offer 20, and that's going to turn his head. If we've got him on 30 grand a week, a bigger club's going to have to put down 50 or something in order to try and lure him over financially, if you like. Let's remove the financial temptation from Declan's face by giving him what he deserves. Yes, of course, they can offer him Champions League football. They can offer him trophies, etc. But can they offer him first-team football? Because that's what he'll be getting at West Ham. And at least he'll be on a salary that justifies that and reflects that. That thing today really annoyed me. He's our most valuable. In terms of his transfer fee, if we sold all our players tomorrow, the biggest transfer fee we would get is for Declan Rice. And if it's not the top one, it would be second or third behind the likes of Lanzini and Nafic. Certainly in the top 3. And 8 grand a week, bloody hell. You're risking pissing off a very hard-working, dedicated player for the sake of what? Saving 12 grand a week over 3 weeks. Because eventually a deal will get done. A deal will get done eventually, okay? And it will probably be about 20 grand. But what's the point in waiting? Declan knows it'll get done. Sullivan knows it'll get done. So what's the point of this? What's the point of upsetting him? Just get the bloody thing done. It's just baffles me, because Aaron Creswell was here for 1 season and he got a new contract. Antonio was here for 1 season, got a new contract. We're rewarding first-team players on first-team salaries for having 1 good season, giving them a wage increase, etc. And we've got this kid on 3 grand a week. We paid Patrice Evra 9.5 grand a week to touch the fucking ball for West Ham last season. Every time he touched the ball, it cost us 9.5 grand a week. We are saying to Declan Rice, we value you at 1 touch for Patrice Evra. That's your weekly salary. What do you think about that? It's insulting, disgusting. Get your checkbook out, Sullivan, because this is one of the most important negotiations this summer. You can bring in all the players you want, but if he leaves, it's a step back. I said on a cup of tea last night, Sullivan's 2-0 up in positivity this summer. Pellegrini, Fredericks, 2-0 Sullivan. Well, Sullivan, it's now 2-1 because you just scored an own goal over there. Anyway, rant over. Last one we're going to talk about. Mike, it's for you. Michael Antonio, linked to Crystal Palace, now linked to Burnley. What's your thoughts?
You know what I'm going to say. I'm a huge fan of Antonio. I think he should be in the first team when he's fit. I mean, we shouldn't sell him. I just think I've saw so many people on social media, right, going, "Oh, but he was great. We won the Antonio of the last season at the Boleyn." Oh, what about the next season when he was Hammer of the Year? Our memory's that short. We don't remember that player that worked so hard. Now, I understand he was unfit for last season. He was rushed back way too early. I don't think it's any coincidence that that Lewin went as well in the summer in the shake-up of people leaving after this season, because I thought he did a bad job. He's bringing back players too early. We're playing players injured and aggravating injuries, and Antonio was a big victim of that. And also, slightly injuries, the rib injury we saw him get at that game where he got a nasty elbow in the ribs and threw up on the dead ball line. I mean, we saw that happen. It was our end of the ground. It was like he was in all sorts of a mess there and still tried to play on. He's when he's good, he's quick, he's direct, he's energetic, he works really, really hard. He can pass. I know Charlie's going to tell me he can't, but he can. And he certainly scores goals. Now, Pellegrini, he loves playing that 4-2-2-2, 4-2-2-2 formation, yeah? He loves playing that, and he likes wide players who can tuck in to make a three at the front. That is going to be, he's exactly that player. I mean, he's got Pellegrini's type player written all over him. And he's not that technical, but he can do it. And I think he'd just be such a loss to us. And what would you get for him? You're looking at 25, 30 million tops. You replace him for that. Now, you've just talked about some players that we were bringing in. Felipe Anderson, how much he is, or Pavan, who we're never going to get. You're going to have to go and find somebody in the second division in Spain or something and hope to God he can do the job for you just to equal that amount of money that we're going to get in. Rant over.
Well, there you go. We've got 4 potential incomings, all next level, if you like. But let us know in the comments if you agree with them, if you like to see them at West Ham United, and what you make of the Felipe Anderson deal, especially if you know about him, because we're not that well known about the Lazio players. We don't have a great deal of knowledge about any of the 4 players I spoke about tonight, but we're honest about it, I suppose. Let us know in the comments below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. We'll be back all summer, 64 days to go, loads of videos, bringing you the latest, getting my opinions from the guests, and we'll see you very soon.